Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Portugal. It's round 3 of the EMX2t European Championship presented by FMF Racing. My name's Paul Malin, and welcome to MXGPTV.com for this third round of the 252 strokes. It's also round 6 of the FIM Motocross World Championship this weekend. And we are here at the circuit of Águeda. Last year when we arrived, we'd had a lot of rain leading into it, but you know what? Track conditions are absolutely perfect. And this year, well, we saved all the rain for last week in Mantova. And I'm glad to report, no rain here, none on the horizon. It's breezy, the track perfect. And we're ready to go racing for the first time here this weekend. Just seeing some of the local scenes and delights there from the local region. Aveiro just down the road, coastal town. But 17 degrees here. Might get a little bit warmer as the day goes on, but you see just northwest. We're about, I don't know, an hour or so south of Porto. But conditions here, absolutely fantastic. Now, in free practice earlier on today, around this circuit, 1,630 meters long, Yuri van Ender on the EcoMax Fuels KTM was fastest in free practice with a 150.7 ahead of Andero Luzbo, Václav Kovar, Brad Anderson, and Max Spies. But in time practice, it was Mike Kress who was fastest with a time of 1:48.5. More on that in just a moment, but championship standings coming into this third round look a little bit like this. Brad Anderson leads the way on 83 points. So the Verdi Substance KTM rider who is yet to finish off the podium. He was victorious at home at Great Britain round 1, and then at the weekend just gone, third overall in Mantova. But the guy behind him, Mike Kress, 14 points down on the Brit. He was victorious a week ago at Mantova. And then Václav Kovar third, Todd Kellett fourth, Brad Todd, and then Yuri van Ender, Andero Luzbo, Andrea Guarini, Ben Putnam, and Marco Lolli. They're your top 10 heading into this third round of the Euro MX2t two-stroke championship presented by FMF Racing. Time practice went like this. Mike Kress on the EcoMax Fuels KTM on 1:48.5. He was just over a tenth quicker than the Italian on the Husky, Emmanuel Alberio. Mike Kress's teammate Yuri van Ender was third, about another tenth behind. Then we had the gas rider, Václav Kovar. He'll go to the line fourth, and then Andrea Vendruscolo will go to the line fifth on his Yamaha. Brad Anderson, the championship leader on the Verdi Substance KTM, goes to the line 6 ahead of Ben Putnam. Andero Luzbo for A1M Husqvarna, Max Spies, and Todd Kellett on his Yamaha, riding with part of his middle digit on his right hand missing after that collision. I think it was with Luzbo actually a week ago, heading up one of the hills in Mantova. There's championship leader then, Brad Anderson, the Bulldog, the British Bulldog, and his training partner, Brad Todd, dare I say it, and I've been told to say this, Brad's old man, the Poodle, qualified in 13th place. I'm sure he won't be happy about that. He's a big old lad himself, is Brad Todd. But Mike Kress, here's Václav Kovar, the 101 on the gas. 25 minutes plus 2 these races for these guys throughout the season. They'll be in Russia, Latvia, Imola, their penultimate round, and then Turkey, final round. There is Andero Luzbo. Will he have a better ride this weekend? He arrived here 7th in the championship, 5th at round 1, 11th last weekend at Mantova and the Monster Energy MXGP of Lombardia. But the Fly Racing 15-second board goes up for the first time today here in Portugal. Mike Kress taking an inside gate. He did have first pick. After all, it's quite a tight first turn heading uphill. Okay, gets ready to drop here. And it's Kress who has that inside line. His teammate alongside him, Yuri van Ender, swinging through up into turn 2, and it's still Kress who leads the way. Van Ender is second, Anderson there in third. Fourth is Alberio, so the guy who was second in time practice making a good start, and Anderson goes down. He loses the front right where he doesn't want to, right at the start of the race as well, and he's going to get clobbered here if he's not careful. So championship leader down. Lost the front going through turn 4. And that's going to be a massive advantage for Mike Crass. Yuri Van Tender, his teammate there, just going to be playing wingman. And then just behind the 499 is Emmanuel Alvarillo, as the rest of these guys come charging through. Vendruscolo also in there, inside the top 5. Václav Kovar just outside as they went through our first splits, but opening up a lead at the bottom of the hill. The first step down over the far side of the circuit. Right, there's the 998. Todd Kellett cuts to the inside on his Yamaha and neatly goes around the outside of Emmanuel Alvarillo as they jump on the pit lane. See, it's a little bit higher on that jump in the background, and Todd Kellett, missing finger or not, exits the final turn, hits the Monster Energy finish line jump here, and he's looks like he's got one thing on his mind here. He looks like he wants to close down Van Ender and then go after Crass, but how long have we got? 23 minutes plus 2 to go in what is a 25-minute plus 2 lap race. It's Crass who leads, almost 3 seconds clear of his teammate Yuri Van Ender. Todd Kellett is 3rd. Alvarillo and Emmanuel is in 4th place. Václav Kovar coming towards us now. The 101 with the red helmet is in 5th. Andrea Vendruscolo in the yellow there is behind him in 6th position. And then 7th, Brad Todd. But Todd, I think, just muscling his way through. There he is on the left, over on the far side as he jumps downhill, going past the 62 of Andero Lusbo of Mike Crass. Sitting pretty at the head of the field at the moment, staying out of trouble because these guys are definitely going to be duffing each other up. Anderson came round in 18th, having fallen on the first lap. Fortunately for him, just the 23 riders lining up to make that job a little bit easier. It's not like he's got to come through 30 or 40 guys this weekend like he would have done in Mantova. Oh, getting the door shut in his face there, Vendruscolo at the top of that hill. Talking to a lot of riders throughout the day, and over on this side of the racetrack, the ground always traditionally a lot harder, firmer, more hard pack, a lot of stone over this side of the track, and then the other side just a little bit looser. And talking to Eddie Seal from Dunlop, he was saying that maybe 1 or 2 guys deciding to go out with a scoop in practice, but he said by the end of the day, most people will be on the more traditional tyre, traditional patterns. Here's Kellett again, looking to go inside, and then he'll... well, he gets the door closed here, but he has a nice tight line coming out of the final corner. He's alongside Yuri Van Tender, who looks over his shoulder, sees Kellett right there. He acts to close the door over the next step down. Keeping an eye on the number 1 of Brad Anderson as well as he comes through on the leaderboard. He was 18th at the end of the first lap. Doesn't look like he's making too much progress either. Goes through in 17th position, so 1 rider a lap. That's not going to be good enough for the championship leader, who has a 14-point lead coming into this round over Mike Crass, the race leader, and Kellett neatly up the inside, commanding the inside through that turn 2 at the top of the hill. Dropping down here. What was his lap time? Well, he was at a 53.0, about a half. Wow, that turn has always been precarious. Even when I raced it back in the day, off camber, more so actually on the way out. But Van Tender going for the big jump to the inside. Kellett will triple his way up, but he needs to be clean there because Van Tender was looking menacing. Anyway, Mike Crass, he leads. He's out of sight at the moment. Kellett 2nd. Van Tender is 3rd. Emmanuel Alvarillo, obviously liking these harder conditions. He's in 4th place at the moment. 13th overall last week. 10th at the opening round at Great Britain. So he'll be looking to improve on that. Maybe get a top 5 overall. Getting ready to come towards the end of the 2nd full lap here. Anyway, here's what happened. to Brad Anderson earlier, who's still trying to pick his way through. Just behind there, I think he might have just run into the rear wheel, you know, at Van Tender. And look at him now, just behind the number 91 of Charlie Putnam in red, over the finish line. So what does that put him? 14th place now, Anderson. So all of a sudden, he decided to work out that, you know what, one rider per lap is not how it's supposed to work here. Middle rider in that trio. Oh, and he neatly slides up the inside of his fellow countryman. So Charlie Putnam, who is 9th in the championship at the moment, having rode a fantastic 6th overall at the opening round at Natalie Base in Great Britain 2 months ago, will do his best now to latch on to the number 1, the championship leader, Brad Anderson. See if he can learn a thing or two, maybe even follow him through as well. Stepping up hill, that's where Anderson crashed on the opening lap. 52.5 was the fastest lap of the race that time around for Todd Kellett. He's 3.6 seconds behind Mike Kress, the race leader. As we focus on the number 1 here, Brad Anderson. Oh, and Putnam was a little bit short there, over on the right-hand side as he came into land. Over that triple. They changed that infield loop section a couple of years ago, where they're dropping down now. That used to be that corner step down, if you remember. I seem to recall Tommy Searle got wrapped up in the green fence in there in his MX2 days when he was challenging Hurlins for the title. Here's Kress, the EcoMax Fuels KTM rider. Taking a high, wide line as he hits the Monster Energy finish line now, and it is a 52.6. Kellett over the line at 52.9. So that gap hovering around about 3.5, 4 seconds between Kress here, number 55, and the 998, Todd Kellett. Working their way towards the final corner on this racetrack, which is there, turn 1. Comes in at a wider sweep, so Kress leads, Kellett 2nd, Yuri Van Ender is 3rd, Emmanuel Alberio 4th, Václav Kovar is 5th, Andrea Vendruscolo is 6th, and Dero Luzbo 7th. Brad Todd is in 8th place, Marco Lolli is 9, Ben Putnam 10, Pierre Filippo Bertuzzo is 11th, Anderson 12, Nico Christensen 13, Max Spies, Charlie Putnam now 15, Matteo Del Coco, Michele Sensioni, Andrea Guarini, Riccardo Sensioni, and Sebastian Zanato. They top 20. Rob Hollyoak just outside the top 20 in 23rd place. Here's Ando, 30 Substance KTM rider, making a mistake at the worst possible time. 4 corners into the race, whilst it was well positioned as well. And if he stays where he is now, and if the flag went out now, Kress would lead the championship by 2 points. Kress would be on 94, Anderson would be on 92, and Kovar would be on 83. Where is Kovar? He's in 5th place. Anderson still there in 12th position. Here's a 21 of Marco Lolli on the Yamaha. And then this guy just behind him is Ben Putnam. Number 11, so Ben Putnam. So yeah, Ben Putnam is 9th in the championship. Charlie Putnam, who we saw a little bit earlier, didn't go to Mantova, but is here in Portugal, 18th in the first round. So getting the Putnams mixed up there. Sorry, guys. Fastest lap of the race, gap back down to 3.5 seconds. Once again, Todd Kellett. So Kress and Kellett, to-in and fro-in at the top of the leaderboard at the moment. They've got about 4 seconds, or Kellett has about 4 seconds over Van Tender. There's Ando over the line this time around, looking to close in on the number 73 of Pierre Filippo Bertuzzo, this rider here in white. So you already see the braking bump starting to appear at the end of that straight. Throwing out a little bit of style here. A little bit further upfield. 62, Andrea Luzbo. looking to make a move on Vendruscolo in the yellow. And force is the issue, but gets the door closed in his face at the top of the hill. Vendruscolo just hanging on there ever so slightly. Just behind him, Brad Todd. Well, he's got a great seat, hasn't he? These two take each other out. It'll be like, oh, 2 positions, please. Up the second of 3 hills over on this far side. The first one takes you up into the waves. Vendruscolo doing his best to hang on. He goes tight to the inside. Luzbo tries to get on the gas. Not going to find a way through there. And again, Kellett faster by another couple of tenths over Kras. 3.2 now the gap between the 2 leaders, Kras and Kellett. It's Kras who is leading the way at the moment. Marco Lolly been passed by Ben Putnam, number 11. Just behind these guys, but Luzbo is looking to make a move up the inside again in turn 2. Short little tabletop downhill. Very windy yesterday when we, well, got here on Thursday, but very windy conditions. Guys ripped the track late last night. Got as much water down as they could as the winds started to drop. Otherwise, the water was just kind of evaporating off the top of the surface. So we had a bit of a balancing act to try and maximize circuit conditions. We're doing a pretty good job of it because it's absolutely perfect in terms of it's not too wet, not too dry, not too rutty. Luzbo has gone through. And Vendruscolo has one of those annoying moments where you got the tear off flapping on the outside of your goggle on the right side. Brad Todd looking menacing on his Yamaha there, number 714, the 3rd rider in shot. He's in 8th. Got on the podium last weekend, 2nd overall in Lombardia at Mantova. Arrives here 5th in the championship. He's had 2 thirds and a 4th. Didn't score in the first race at Matterley. But he goes around the outside of the Italian and hits the line in 7th place. So Kras, his lead has now been cut to just over 2 seconds as Kellett continues to knock off the fastest lap of the race. A 52.2 this time, 53.3 for Kras. Van Ender is still in 3rd place. Emmanuel Alvarillo is 4th. Václav Kovar is 5. Luzbo 6, Todd 7. Vendruscolo 8, and this is Todd Kellett closing in on his St. Blaise Yamaha. Closing in on the race leader, Mike Kras. Here's Kras's teammate, number 92, Yuri Van Ender. He's still there in 3rd, but for how much longer? Because Emmanuel Alvarillo, 499 in the blue and yellow, is starting to wear him down a little bit here. 11 minutes plus 2 to go in this first Euro MX2t Championship race here, presented by FMF Racing. This is the fight for 3rd place. And Ender and Emmanuel Alvarillo. Just behind him, about 3-4 seconds further back, Václav Kovar, the 101 on his gas. And Darrell Luzbo about 5 seconds behind him. And he's got that battle with Brad Todd and Andrea Vendruscolo going on right behind him as well. Then we've got Ben Putnam, who's 9. Anderson now 10. Anderson setting his personal best lap of the race that time around, a 53.6, a full second slower than Todd Kellett, who's now got his gap down to 1.7. So all of a sudden, Kras has got his hands full here with Todd Kellett just ahead of these guys. 10 seconds further up the track, probably going through turn 1 as we speak. So both EcoMax Fuels riders in the thick of the action here. Kress, the leader, and Van Ender there, the lead rider in this shot, the top of the hill, number 92. He's in third place. Always get that little kicker on the top of the takeoff there, where the riders just blip right at the takeoff point. Kovar just losing the toe to these guys in 5th position, just there in the background on that red gas. Just keeping an eye on the splits here, 53.1, 52.6, 26.9, 27, 27.7, 28. Looks like Kress might just be opening up that gap to just over 2 seconds again, maybe. Depends on what happens on the final split. But Anderson there on the Burley Substance KTM. Got number 11 just ahead of him, Ben Putnam. So 2 Brits, just a little bit lower down the order than they wanted to be. Get ready to bring the leaders over the line any moment now. These guys 30-odd seconds down, 25, 26 seconds down on the race leader, Mike Kress, who's over the line now, 1:53.0 and 53.0, so the gap 1.6, so not coming down enough, but Todd Kellett is certainly making Mike Kress up his game. Here is your race leader. Braking bumps just starting to develop. That line a lot tighter up the hill now than it was during the time training sessions, where the riders were railing the outside through turn 1. And the ground hard and slick in places. You get these loose marbles, these stones on the top, unpredictable, especially as you head there and you see the back end just coming around on Kellett. Got to roll the gas on. You just punch open the throttle and all of a sudden the back end will come around on you. Here's Putnam and Anderson. These two still 9th and 10th. Just ahead of Putnam at the bottom of the hill is Andrea Vendruscolo in 8th place. Vendruscolo last time was a 54.1, so these two here probably being pushed on by the fact that Ando is right behind Putnam, starting to close down the gap. Anyway, Andero Lusbo is in 6th place, the number 62 on the A1M Husqvarna, but lucky to still be there in 6th. He was committed to that step up as well, took off with his feet off. Through the waves. Furthest point away from the start line area, and they drop back downhill. Uphill here, step up. Here's Kovar just behind him though. It looks like Lusbo and Todd. Lusbo just hanging on. Looked like they were side by side as they came over the jump onto pit straight, but nothing in it between the two riders here in 6th and 7th position. And Dero Lusbo on the A1M Husqvarna takes a nervous look over the right shoulder, and Todd was over there on the left, just a little bit further round to the outside. Todd gets good drive in his Yamaha as well, coming out of that left-hander. Will he cut to the inside? No. He tries to, but has to eat some roost in the process off the back of that Husky. Putnam still leads Anderson in that 9th place battle. About a second in it as they hit the line. Todd just getting a little bit too high over on the right-hand side there, coming out of that turn. Meanwhile, Van Ender, saw him just jumping across the camera in the fluorescent colours on the Eco Max Fuels KTM. He looks to be comfortable in 3rd now. It looks like he's broken free from Emmanuel Alberio in 4th place. Kovar closing in though on the Italian. And Anderson, I think, has just found his way past the number 11 of Ben Putnam. Let's have a look. Goes around the outside, positioned for one of the step-ups. So Anderson then finally gets clear track. Drops down into the turn, pit lane to the right. Kovar is all over the back now of Emmanuel Alvarillo. This is for 4th place. Taking him a little time to wake up, Kovar, but all of a sudden the Czech rider now looking like he's a little bit more in tune with the circuit conditions as he goes after a 4th place finish or higher if he can. But it's Kress who leads, 2.9 seconds clear of Kellett. Van Tender is 3rd. Manuel Alvarillo here with the yellow arms is in 4th. Kovar just behind him in 5th, 101. Looks like he's got good drive. He'll command the inside here as well. And he does. Offers up a little bit of brake check there as well. Takes another look across. See that he's got enough room to work before he closes down the door. Those choppy brake acceleration bumps now starting to appear on the downside of that far hill. Kovar all of a sudden has clear track. A little bit behind them, and Dara Luzbo about 4 or 5 seconds back. Todd is 7th, Vendruscolo 8th, Anderson is 9th. But we're getting ready to hit the line here as Anderson closed down the gap any more to Vendruscolo. 11 laps in the books, only the top 3 are over the line. Here's 4th and 5th, Kovar now 4th. Manuel Alvarillo is in 5th, and Anderson is not too far behind these guys, you know. Luzbo, Todd, Vendruscolo, and Anderson. Here is your championship leader, and he will lead by a point if the flag went out now. So despite that DNF from Mike Kress in race 1, as Anderson just thinks about throwing the elbows out. Tried to ram it down the inside of Vendruscolo. Again, the Italian just holding his nerve. Frustrating race this for Anderson. Crashing first lap, just the other side of this step up. Watch this here, gets inside. Now, if they would have come together there, Vendruscolo would have been over the bank. So Ando has to wind it up and try again. Kellett's charge to the front has faltered slightly, 3.2 seconds behind. Anderson again tries to run up the inside, just has a bit of a love tap there on the swing arm of Vendruscolo. Nice choice of line there from Anderson. Jumps long, goes around the other mogul, but getting the door closed in his face. Whole load of roost off the rear wheel of the 731 ahead of him on that Yamaha. Ando running out of time. Fortunately for him, Kress is over the line before time has expired here, so it's going to be 3 laps to go in this first race. Again, ducking his head down there as the roost flying up, and Putnam making a mistake in 10th place. He was just behind Anderson. Hopefully it didn't cost him too much time. I think Patuzzo may have gone through. Just have a quick look. Patuzzo, yeah, Patuzzo's gone through in 10th place. Putnam should hit the line any moment now in 11th. Right, Anderson comes into land on the number 1, 30 substance KTM. Again, just letting Vendruscolo know that he's there. Committed ride this from Vendruscolo. Oh, and Anderson does charge up the inside, and we've got a camera the other side of there as well. Probably get a better angle of that if they picked it up, but good aggressive ride in that then from both riders. Clean and fair. We've got waved yellows there. Oh no, is it? No, we're not waved yellows. Just fans waving them on. Just happened to have a yellow t-shirt. So Anderson now up into 8th, and you see that he's got all of this downhill, uphill section to make up on his training partner, Brad Todd. Here's Lolly, number 21, and the 7 of Max Spies. Where are they? They are 12th and 13th place. Crass over the line, 2 laps to go. 7.3 seconds clear now of Todd Kellett. Here's Kovar. Dero Lusbo closing in all over the back of him as well. So Van Tender has gone through in 3rd. Here's Kovar and Dero Lusbo looking at knocking on the door for 4th place now with 2 to go. So the Czech and the Estonian. There's the Dutch rider just disappearing out of sight. Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy at the top of the hill there between Emmanuel Alborio and Brad Todd. Todd ran him wide, and he's going to slam the door in his face here as he hits turn 1, but then he gets pushed wide as well. Over-committed. Got it all to do again. The number 714, Todd. So these two here, 6th and 7th. Todd tries to hold a tighter line. He'll have to hit the jump into the turn, but can't go long there. Two would have collided otherwise. Lusbo looks to commit to the inside. Got clean lines on the takeoff of the jump there. Oh, and he was just ready to close in over the top of Kovar. Kovar went, no, I'm just going to go a little bit further up the turn. And those two almost went down there. Well, Lusbo would have definitely come off worse. Pietro Salina just pulling up there on the left. Todd does go through this time though. Bottom of the hill. Here's Yuri, is this Crass? Yeah, Crass there, number 55. 8 seconds clear of Todd Kellett. Starting to look around, he knows exactly how much time he's got to play with, so he can go into cruise mode now, but these two can't. 62, Lusbo looking to go even tighter through the final corner, asking a little bit too much of the rear end. Gets on the gas, it comes around on him, lost him a little bit of time. Meanwhile, Speed has gone past Lolly. Crass leads, Kellett second. Van Ender is third. 4th, Kovar. 5th, Lusbo. 6th, Todd. Made that move over on the far side just half a lap ago. 7th, the guy just there in the yellow, just going by, is Emmanuel Alborio. Anderson in 8th place. So where did Anderson finish in race 1 and still made the podium last week? 13th in race 1 and got a win. And got 3rd overall. So his podium chances are not quite over yet, but got to say, great ride and a great response from this guy. Mike Crass having DNF race 2 at Matterley, having gone 2nd in the first race. He's followed that up with a win in a second, and he's going to win the first race here and move to within 2 points of Anderson if he wins, and Anderson stays in 8th. So Anderson will be on 96, and Crass will be on 94. That'd be music to his ears, but taking it right the way down to the wire. These two here, and oh, we're going to see a load of twisted metal in a minute if we're not careful. But again, another slight bobble and a mistake there from the 62 of Lusbo. He's just got a couple more corners in which to inflict a pass here. But just a little bit further up the track, here he is in the final corner. Mike Crass, Ecomax Fuels KTM, has cruised to victory in race 1 of the European MX2 Championship race presented by FMF Racing. A 59.9, a 58.6 by Kellett. 6.6 seconds that gap. Van Ender over the line now in 3rd, but these two 4th and 5th. And it's going to be the 101 of Kovar, who just hangs on from the Estonian, despite the hard efforts of the number 62, Andero Luzbo. Brad Tudd over the line in 6th, Emmanuel Alborio 7th, Anderson 8th, and that is where he can finish there. And Anderson now leads the championship by just 2 points, having made that mistake on the first lap, but Kress will be delighted with that. Here he is with Lisa Leyland.
Mike Kress, congratulations. Good start. You managed to stay out of trouble at the head of the field to get your second race win, although Kellett was closing in at one point.
Woo! I'm happy. This is such a fun track, and this is a long time since I had so much fun riding, and the track is nice. It's a little bit sketchy because I almost lost the front wheel sometimes, but this is for my kids, man. My wife, my kids, I want to make them so proud, and I feel like this is the way to do it, so I'm proud of myself and I'm really happy, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, start to finish win for Mike Kress. Held his nerve through the first corner, came away with the whole shot, and he walks away with a victory in moto number 1. And he's closed down the gap to Anderson to just 2 points as we head into race 2 tomorrow. You can catch that race here live in the morning on MXGP TV, but congratulations to Mike Kress and the EcoMax Fuels KTM squad. First and third, actually, in the race. Official confirmation then, Mike Kress wins it from Todd Kellett. Juri van 't Ende was third, Václav Kovar 4, Andero Luzbo 5th, Brad Todd 6th, Emmanuel Alborio 7, and Brad Anderson 8th. After picking himself up on lap 1. Andrea Vendruscolo was 9, Pierre Filippo Bertuzzo came in 10th, ahead of Ben Putnam, Max Spies, Nico Christensen, Andrea Guarini, Marco Lolli and Charlie Putnam, and then Michele Sensioni, Matteo Del Coco, Seb Zanato and Eric Thomas, or Thomas. Hello, Mum. Right, a little bit of water going on the track. MX2 time practice getting ready to go out. But you know what? Let's take a look at some of the highlights, shall we, from that first MX2 two-stroke race. Look to the right-hand side. The 2 EcoMax Fuels KTMs. At 55 and 92, but it was Kress who just edged out his teammate Juri van 't Ende. Anderson was about 5th as he headed uphill, but then 2 corners later, the number 1, the championship leader, by 14 points coming into this race, lost the front there. Didn't run into the back of van 't Ende, just a self-inflicted mistake. Anderson picked himself up. He would have to hard charge his way through the field. Kellett, though, 998, launching his way into oblivion, got himself into 3rd and then into 2nd. With this move on the 92 of Juri van 't Ende. Anderson, meanwhile, ran himself down the inside of the number 91 of Charlie Putnam on the RFX KTM, racing, powered by PAR Homes. Todd, Brad Todd. Sounds like a secret agent. The name's Todd, Brad Todd. He charged his way up the inside as he eventually came home in 6th place. He still had some work to do, though, to get to that 6th position. This pass in a moment was on the 62 of Luzbo, but Anderson around the outside of the number 11 of Ben Putnam. That was for 9th place. Václav Kovar then made his move on the 499 of Emmanuel Alborio as Putnam then fell from 9th. He eventually came home in 11th. Anderson ran it up the inside of Vendruscolo. That would be the final pass he would make, and he would come home in 8th place as Todd put one more squeeze on the 499 of Emmanuel Alborio. That one didn't work out. Those two of Kovar and Luzbo came home 4th and 5th, but it was a comfortable win in race 1 for Mike Kress. Kellett was 2nd, van 't Ende was 3rd. We'll take a look at some of the best moments then. And when we return in about an hour and a half's time, it will be for WMX Race 1. Of course, it's their second round this weekend here in Portugal. We'll see you then.